Hey everybody, I'm the Linux Gamer and I just played Axiom Verge. It's a Metroidvania-style action-adventure game developed and published by Thomas Happ. Axiom Verge was released for Linux May 14th, 2015. I got this game through the Indie Box with the help of my Patreon contributors. Thank you guys, you're awesome. In Axiom Verge, you play as Trace, a scientist who awakens in a strange alien world due to a lab accident. After exploring and happening upon a strange robotic creature, you realize this world is besieged by a villainous character named Athetos. The game's story is told through cutscenes and dialogue boxes. As you encounter more of these robotic creatures, called Rizalki, the story becomes clear. In my opinion, the story is the weakest part of Axiom Verge. I'm not a fan of how it's written. When dialogue boxes pop up, I kind of roll my eyes. Not to mention the way in which Elsa Nova speaks drives me bonkers.
No, our word is... I don't like this.
As I've said in previous videos about Axiom Verge, this game feels like a 16-bit adventure, for sure. Compare the world's layout to that of Super Metroid on the SNES. While there are a few effects here that the SNES couldn't accomplish, Axiom Verge has a clear and coherent aesthetic. The glitched portions of Axiom Verge have a great feel to them as well. The post-processing effects that give the game a feel of a CRT display missing overscan are incredibly cool. The music of Axiom Verge reminds me of something you'd hear on an N64, invoking the great soundtrack of Perfect Dark. Axiom Verge draws inspiration from other games in the genre. Titles like Metroid and Castlevania are obvious starting points, but there's also a bit of a Contra vibe. The primary goal of the game is to explore the world to find ways to progress the narrative. During your exploration, you find power-ups that enhance your abilities, weapons, or health. As you progress with an arsenal at your fingertips, you become well-suited to make your way through previously inaccessible areas. There are also a ton of secrets to find. Hidden areas, glitched blocks, and unnecessary power-ups that serve as rewards for exploration. But the game is not without its faults. While many games far too often hold your hand or constantly nag you to move forward, Axiom Verge skews hard to the other camp, giving you vague hints but never pushing you to move forward. Backtracking is always a possibility, oftentimes done in vain. There rarely seems to be an obvious path to progress, and instead you're just left to figure it out on your own. There's no objective marked on your map. Exploration is key, and experimentation is a must. And finally, let's talk about the boss battles. Some of these guys have that satisfying old-school patterned attack style. Learn the boss's pattern and you'll vanquish him in no time. But others are less nuanced and require a ton of lead. Bosses are fun to fight, but definitely aren't the best aspect of the game.
Like, he's not even attacking where I am, you know?
The controls in Axiom Verge feel solid, though at some points complex. Trace, the main character, is responsive. He can jump really high, he turns on a dime, and he can quickly take aim. The controls become more complicated when using other tools, or when needing to aim down. The L1 button locks your stance to allow you to aim in any direction while standing still, but for some reason I would hit R1 to lock my stance every time, and that's the address disruptor. Axiom Verge performs at full speed on Linux, both on my Nvidia GTX 970 powered desktop and my craptastic AMD powered laptop. In the game's manual, yes, the Indie Box version of this game does come with a paper manual, DualShock 4 support is explicitly touted, so that's primarily how I played this game. I did try the Steam controller and the 360 controller. The former works surprisingly well, but since it lacks a right analog stick, switching weapons was not a walk in the park. The 360 controller was not ideal, since this is the kind of game that requires a D-pad, in my opinion, and for all intents and purposes, the 360 controller doesn't have one. Axiom Verge scratches my long-time Metroidvania itch. It takes cues from previous games of the genre and is worthy of your time. When it's not frustrating seeking a way forward, it's quite fun. I'd recommend this game if you love Super Metroid or related titles. It's available for Linux through the Indie Box for a limited time, the Humble Store, and Steam. Links are in the description. Have you played Axiom Verge? What do you think of it? Hop over to Patreon and leave me a comment, or tweet at me at @TheLinuxGamer. Feel free to check out the rest of my channel, including my previous Alien Isolation review, my tour of System 76's headquarters, or my Axiom Verge unboxing. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and share it with your friends, and make sure you subscribe to see more from me. the Linux Gamer. Thanks for watching.
I'm just gonna call you Shat, because that's cool. Kind of like Shatner.